Early colonists brought a thirst for whiskey. They produced it using techniques from their homelands. Rye was the most common grain, and it thrived in the American climate. Whiskey quickly became popular. It was a source of warmth and cheer. People drank it socially and used it for medicinal purposes. Many farmers distilled excess grain into whiskey. This provided extra income. Whiskey played a role in colonial trade. It was a valuable commodity. People traded it for other goods and services. As demand grew, so did production. Whiskey production spread throughout the colonies. It became ingrained in early American life. This set the stage for its evolution. In the late 18th century, settlers moved west. They sought fertile land. Kentucky became a hub for whiskey production. The region's limestone-filtered water was ideal for distilling. Farmers in Kentucky grew corn. It was plentiful and cheap. They began using it to make whiskey. This corn whiskey differed from traditional rye whiskey. It was sweeter and smoother. This distinct corn whiskey became known as bourbon. It gets its name from Bourbon County, Kentucky. Bourbon gained popularity for its unique flavor profile. The rise of bourbon marked a turning point. American whiskey developed its own identity. This set it apart from European counterparts. As the newly formed nation faced financial challenges, the government looked for ways to generate revenue. In 1791, a tax was imposed on whiskey. This angered many Americans, particularly farmers in the West. Farmers viewed the whiskey tax as unfair. They saw whiskey as a necessity, not a luxury. The tax burden fell heavily on small producers in the West. Resistance to the tax grew into open rebellion. In western Pennsylvania, farmers refused to pay. They intimidated tax collectors and even resorted to violence. The Whiskey Rebellion tested the authority of the new federal government. President George Washington sent troops to quell the uprising. The rebellion was suppressed, but it highlighted the importance of whiskey in early American life. The 19th century was a boom time for American whiskey. Technological advancements revolutionized production. The invention of the continuous still allowed for mass production. Railroads connected distilleries to distant markets. This led to wider distribution and increased demand. American whiskey became a national commodity. New distilleries opened across the country. Each region developed its own unique style of whiskey. Pennsylvania rye, Maryland rye, and Monongahela rye gained recognition. This era of innovation and expansion cemented America's reputation as a whiskey powerhouse. American whiskey began to gain international acclaim. Section 5. Prohibition, the Dry Years, and their impact. In 1920, the 18th Amendment went into effect. It banned the manufacture, sale, and transportation of alcohol. Prohibition had a devastating impact on the American whiskey industry. Distilleries were forced to close their doors. Many went bankrupt. The once thriving industry came to a standstill. The demand for alcohol didn't disappear. It fueled the rise of organized crime. Bootleggers produced and sold illegal liquor. This often contained dangerous impurities. Prohibition lasted for 13 years. It left a lasting legacy on the American whiskey industry. Many distilleries never recovered. The quality and reputation of American whiskey suffered. Section 6. The Return of the King, Post-Prohibition Revival. After Prohibition ended in 1933, the American whiskey industry faced an uphill battle. The industry had to rebuild from scratch. Consumer tastes had changed. Many had developed a preference for other spirits. The quality of American whiskey had declined. Slowly but surely, the industry began to recover. Distilleries focused on quality control and consistency. They introduced new brands and marketing campaigns. The post-war economic boom led to increased consumer spending. American whiskey regained its footing. It was once again a staple on bar shelves and in liquor cabinets. Section 7. The Rise of Premiumization, a New Era of Appreciation. In the late 20th century, a shift occurred in the American whiskey market. Consumers developed a taste for premium and super-premium whiskeys. This trend was driven by several factors. Rising disposable incomes allowed consumers to trade up to higher-quality spirits. A growing interest in cocktails and mixology fueled demand for premium ingredients. Distilleries responded by introducing new high-end expressions. They focused on small batch and single-barrel releases. Age statements became a mark of quality and prestige. The rise of premiumization brought a renewed focus on craftsmanship and tradition. It elevated the status of American whiskey. Section 8. American whiskey today, a global phenomenon. Today, American whiskey is experiencing a golden age. It is one of the most popular and respected spirits categories worldwide. American whiskey exports have soared in recent years. Countries like Japan, Australia, and Germany have developed a strong thirst for bourbon and rye. The popularity of American whiskey is driven by its quality, diversity, and history. From the smooth sweetness of bourbon to the spicy complexity of rye, there is an American whiskey for every palate. American whiskey has become an integral part of American culture and identity. It is a spirit with a rich history and a bright future. Section 9. The Future of American Whiskey, Innovation and Tradition. The future of American whiskey is bright. The industry is poised for continued growth and innovation. New distilleries are opening across the country. They are experimenting with new grains, yeasts, and aging techniques. This experimentation is pushing the boundaries of flavor and tradition. Consumers are increasingly interested in the stories behind their whiskey. They want to know about the people, places, and processes that make each bottle unique. American whiskey is a spirit that respects its past while embracing the future. It is a testament to the ingenuity, craftsmanship, and entrepreneurial spirit of the American people.